All right, we're recording. We already did our audio test. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to our official session 1, beginning of our adventure here on Valmartyr. Last time, you all showed up to the Golden Tides Festival, each with your own ambitions, but they all intertwined in the terms of you guys wanted to go and participate in the Golden Tides tournament. The tournament was different this year because it's the 50th anniversary, and because of that, they teamed and partnered everybody together, including you as well. So the 6 of you ended up partnering as a team for the first time. You guys went through your first 2 rounds. The first round was some spectral, spooky skeletons, completely demolished them. The second round was with trolls, and you conquered the trolls, and you have now retreated back into your room and are awaiting the third and final round of the tournament. Okay, let me open up my maps and get us where we need to be.
Right on.
All right, here we are. Let me make sure my time is on as well. We are rolling.
Nice. So new doggo token.
Yes, so I've updated Ash's token to because it's like an ethereal type wolf thing, so it looks kind of cool. But yeah,
I love it.
so you guys, if you haven't already, should have short rested last session. You didn't short rest last session. Now would be a good time to do so.
I think we did, and Tara told us all to get together to cast a spell that would heal us as well. I think.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forget.
homework.
Okay. Let me open up my GM notes here. Beautiful. All right, so as you guys are sitting there, stretching, long, short resting, catching your breath, all of a sudden you just hear a big knock, a big bang, bang, bang on the door. And, oops, the game master runs into your room, and he looks at all of you guys, and he's just like, oh, this is so great. And he's clapping, he's happy. He says, the fans are going wild. Everybody loves you. This is great. A bunch of winners in this room. That kind of walks by you all, looking you up and down, complimenting all of you on your fighting style as he paces. As he gets to this corner of the room, he stops and turns around, and he goes, but he's like, everybody huddle in. And Jinshi, why don't you shut that door? Everyone get real close. He's waving you guys
Of
up.
course.
He's like, shh, come on. He's like, Jinshi, shut the door. It's like eyeballing the door. I don't know why. Oh, there we go. Now I can control him. Oh, Hal's on top of me? Oh, my
You
lord.
said to get in close. I
Hal-
just got really close.
Hal's in real close. He's like over my shoulder. All right. As Jinshi shuts the door and everybody comes in close, he says, you guys are great fighters. But listen, I need you to lose. I'm just going to cut it with you straight. I need you to lose. He looks at everybody, goes, deal? And he sticks out his
Not
hand.
gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
He looks over at Valen in disgust. And he's like, does he speak for the rest of the party?
Yes, he does speak for the rest of the party.
The game master kind of like changes his posture. He rolls his eyes and he looks at you and he's just like, what about if I pay you the total of the winnings, an equal amount, and all you have to do is lose?
Hal steps even closer and like brushes off dirt from his like lapel and shoulders. The game master, and it's just like, my pride does not allow me to lose.
The game master
What
rolls.
do you gain? What do you gain from we losing?
He looks and he's like, that's my business. He's like, your business is getting paid 1,000 gold. That's 166 pieces each. And he points at each of you as he's counting it out. He's like, so you guys aren't going to lose? He looks over at Valen and he looks at kind of his tattered clothes. He kind of rolls his eyes as they were once fine clothes that have been now tattered from his scuffle. And he looks down at Felix, missing his arm. He kind of rolls his eyes and goes, this party obviously needs the money.
Money, you'll find, is quite cheap. Fame, however, lasts a lifetime.
I could not agree more.
If I may be privy enough to speak up to you, Sir Game Master,
He looks down at you.
you told us not too long ago that the people, they're excited for us and that they look forward to us, our abilities and how we've entertained them, yes?
The game master just takes like a deep breath, closes his eyes. When he opens it, he's like, yes, they shall love you. And he just starts walking towards the door and says, good luck. He stops.
Hal chases after him, just to our game master. I can't. Like, I'm trying to roll. Are you guys seeing my rolls at all?
Yeah, I can see the roll.
Yeah.
I can't see them.
Oh, is your chat like tabbed out or?
Oh, it's up. I can't see anything I'm doing.
Weird.
Um,
Are you doing a private or a self roll or something? Is it like on public? Your
No,
settings?
no,
No.
there is public rolls going on right now.
I
It's
guess I would
public
be
roll.
weird.
Try it.
I don't know.
Oh, what have I rolled? What?
Well, privately rolled some dice? Question mark.
Yeah, I can't see. Nothing's coming up. I can't see anything. Anyway,
Okay.
I'm trying to do a strength check to lift this guy up by himself.
Oh, all right. Here, you want me to
Am
roll it for you? I
succeeded at all?
guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, let me see if I can
guess.
roll
I
it
don't
for you. I can roll it for
Yeah,
you.
that now it went through.
You rolled a 14 against.
I still can't see it though. I can't see any chat.
That's so strange.
Okay, now your chat showed up.
Yeah, your chat did show up.
Maybe you just need to reload the session and it should come back for you. Sometimes the oh, that one. Sometimes Foundry can do that where you have to reload.
Yeah, I would try to reload, but you did successfully pick him up.
Aha! There it is. Now I can see it.
Oh, perfect.
All right.
Back into hell.
You pick him up.
Pick him up.
As you lift him, just pure terror is in his eyes.
And then I look over my shoulder and I'm like, what should I do, guys?
Felix is immediately going to step forward and put his left arm towards your hip and say, "Wait, no, big fella, you're going to handle this, and you're going to handle this civilly. No need to make up a fuss. There's already plenty of that going on in the ring."
Game Master
Ow.
squirms and tries to break free.
Al sighs, a deep sigh. And then with one hand, he's still holding the game master. With the other hand, he pats Felix on the head, and he's just like, "You're right." And he just lets go.
Game Master
Start the game.
thuds to the
Oh, no,
ground.
Hollow. There is no need for we to get
Sir,
this
the
low.
Sir Game Master, if I may ask you one more question.
He's like
This,
just brushing himself off, collecting himself.
this is a celebration of the Gold Tides Festival, and I hear it's a big anniversary for your people. If I may ask the question, what does us losing help with these good people? They have hope and they have confidence in us, and they wish to be entertained. Don't you believe that by us losing, you lose these people that you worked so hard to entertain? Not even men and women, just children watching us as well. They've been thoroughly entertained. Imagine how upset or sad they might be going home, knowing that the folks that they trusted lost.
He just
Do you
kind
think they
of
would ever come back?
he just kind of starts chuckling under his breath and closes his eyes. And when he opens them, he just looks in Jinshi and Valen's direction, looks back down at you and goes, "Oh, you silly little rat folk. You'll never understand." And then he leaves. He
We keep
heads for
looking
the
at our
door.
elf friends. Huh?
He's gone.
Hey.
He walks out. He's
How did he
gone.
walk out of a door that was closed?
He walks straight through it. He can't-
There we go.
He's gone. All right. Well, with that, you guys hear the gong ring, pa-ding, signaling the next bout. The final bout
What a strange fella.
is ready.
What do we want to do, guys? I don't want to lose.
I am very sure that
We will
none of
not
you
lose.
want to lose.
We will not lose.
All right.
Let's
Losing
do
is
best.
Like, he came here, like, spoke nothing, like, just asked us to lose, did not give us name, reason, and nothing about that. I do not trust this guy.
No.
I don't either. I want to win so I can meet somebody.
My
There's supposed to
problem
be some
is
Whatever
wizard here.
whatever he gains from us losing, he gains more from us losing than we selves. Yeah.
my problem is
You
less
got
about
it.
trust with this game master. I am thinking more of the bigger picture here. There are very good folk who worked very hard for the past few years just to see
And-
this Gold Tides tournament and to send them home.
It is a
Disappointed and
special
upset.
edition, and he asks us to lose. For what
Yes,
reason?
I don't know, but I could care less about the money. I'm here to help the people and give them the entertainment that they work so hard to watch.
Bing! bing. You hear the gong ring again. Then bing, 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 bing. They're getting impatient.
I think that we will have to decide that on the battlefield. Let's go.
We will.
All right. It's cool. Let me open my game notes or read off the part.
Guys, I think we're in a simulation.
All right.
Victor Reporter.
The weight of the moment starts pressing down upon you as the preceding team emerges victorious, their adversaries bested in the gritty confines of the pit. Your heart's rhythm quickens, the electricity of anticipation changing every fiber of your being. The tournament climax is imminent. An echoing voice reverberates through the tent, signifying the grand finale. With only 2 teams remaining, it's your turn to descend into the familiar stone depths of the arena. And as your feet touch the ground, you're immediately met with the instant gazes of the opposing team. 6 formidable challengers stand before you. Their appearances bear the scars of earlier combats, much like your own. The fatigue, the dried blood, and the resolve that's been evident in their eyes. For a heartbeat, the 2 teams silently assess each other, understanding that every slight disadvantage can make the difference. The Game Master's voice punctures the tension. Ladies and gentlemen, behold, the grand finale! And the crowd starts screaming and going nuts. It's deafening. His tone is charged with excitement as he elaborates on the unique nature of this final bout. In a rare contest of might and will, our final team of heroes will battle. Yet heed this. The ancestral traditions of this tournament dictate that there shall be no fatal blows. Honor, valor, and skill must be showcased, but no life is to be taken. The arena atmosphere thickens with anticipation, the audience chanting and rowdy. The deep clang of the gong resonates its final call to arms. Your adversary's eyes narrow, filled with determination, echoing the sentiment felt by each member of your team. The end game has commenced, and only one team will emerge as champions of the Golden Tides tournament. All right, and with that, I will start a combat sequence. We will all roll your initiative. Okie doke. Let's see. Oh, Kaz, who I don't think is here. So he's gone. He's sleeping. He's snoozing in the other room. All right. It's Aerith's turn. What do you do, Aerith? I forget what I give all these dudes. Hold on. What's becoming? All right. Aerith runs up, sprinting at you. Terra, locked eyes with you. Swings a big longsword. Whoochink. And does he hit? He hits. Holy smokes. All right. Slashes Terra with 3 damage with his longsword. Oh my gosh. Man, you guys rolled not very great. Zagstraw, what is your ability, bud? What did I give you again? Aha. He's gonna roll. Oh, I see. I understand. I get it now. He's gonna roll a magic missile, and he's gonna target all 3 of them on Felix right in front of him. Or I was still targeting Terra, but I guess Felix was the one taking the blow. All right, and they only hit for 5, or is there 3 of them? There should be 3 of them. Do I have to roll 3?
Yeah, if it's magic missile, it should roll 3 times.
So it's 15 damage, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, if you wanna go by the 1 die instead of like the individual, like throwing all individual die, that would be 15.
So he hits Felix, bang, 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 with magic missiles. Kithis locks eyes with Hal and sprints at him in a pure charge of pride. And what is your ability, Kithis? Oh, I see.
The hell are you?
He's so focused, his eyes are just locked onto you. It's like he can't even hear you right now.
As he's running at me, I just meow meow.
And he stops. And he also goes meow meow. And you guys like wrap tails and do the sacred lion's folk tail shake. and then he swings at you with his rapier.
Ask.
Does he hit? Oh yes, he does. He slices you. He pokes you a couple good times. Just, hits you for 10. All right. Kasaria locks eyes with Jin Shi. Familiar glance.
I hate you, Isaac. I hate you, man.
locks eyes with Jin Shi. They have a familiar moment where they both just anticipate themselves for battle, and smiles rip across both of their faces as she charges at Jin Shi, attacking him with her centaur charge, and swinging at him with her hand axe.
No.
She does not hit. She comes to a grinding halt and swings, but Jin Shi ducks it. All right.
I will say to her, like face to face, I already bested you on Battlefield once. What does make you think that this time will be different?
She gasps.
And I will hit her 2 times. Because, yeah, I am... Yeah, let's go.
Yeah!
Ah,
Let's go!
let's fucking go!
Was that a nat 20?
Yes,
Nat
that was a
20.
nat 20.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh my god, that's another! Jesus Christ!
And I want to remind you all that I have Great Weapon Master, which means that if I land a critical hit, I can make an extra attack with a bonus action. Let
Oh,
me,
Jesus.
it's here somewhere. I don't know where, but it's here somewhere. Help me, DM. I am
Sorry, what?
here. And so I will make a third attack with my bonus action because I can make that.
Just gonna cut this poor chick in half.
Não dá pra ter tudo na vida, né?
Alright,
But alright, let me roll for damage.
so 12 damage on the first roll.
Yeah, and let me critical hit. And
Jesus.
Okay.
one and another one. I am not finding my great sword again. Oh boy. Right, I will have to make another check right here. Because yeah. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Take your time. So you guys have to learn the system. I understand that's gonna take a few sessions to really get good at it.
Oh, okay. I must roll before. Alright.
So she's already at 32 damage.
But that did not count. I am just like trying to get them.
DM,
yeah.
the initial 12 was his third attack roll, not a damage roll for you. So he's only rolled the 21 and the 18 so far.
Okay. She's just healing up.
Yeah, it is 39 of damage, and that's it.
All right. You smack her up. You beat the hell out of her for 39 damage. Slice her with your sword and wound her pretty bad. And she just looks up at you, and it just excites her.
Let's make this interesting.
All right, Hal.
Alright. I passively am just like, who are you? And attack. Alright. Beautiful. Great axe. Do I hit?
His armor class is 15. What'd you roll? Yes, you definitely hit.
Take that.
Oh, headphone disconnect. Heads up.
Oh boy.
You good,
All right.
DM?
Yes, sorry, my headset died, so I plugged it in.
No,
Is
it's
my-
okay. You're good.
Is the audio fine, or is it all weird and fuzzy right now?
No, your audio's still coming through. I would just make sure if it's coming through the recording
Yes,
system as well.
it's still coming through the recording. Sweet. All right, we're all
Okay.
plugged in, man. All right, sorry, Hal. I didn't hear any of the thing. You like went to talk, and then I just heard like robot noises.
I hit him for 5 damage.
All right,
And
I think
I'm just like, you look familiar.
he just clutches his slash. All right, Callan looks at Valen, and from a distance, you can see him like notice your family signet that you're wearing, and seeing that, he gets even more excited and takes aim at you with his longbow. Pops a little shot off. Oh, I need to start targeting the right people. I'm sorry. For 11, that does not hit. Arrow just lands at your
Ooh.
feet. All right.
I wasn't expecting the dramatic entrance to my turn. Cut me off guard. I also had the audio coming through my monitor speakers, not my headset. Anyway, So Valen sees the arrow plunge into the dirt right at his feet. He just kind of looks at it and like glances up with a big cocky grin on his face as he draws his rapier with a flourish. And once again, that same shimmering effect takes over him as he begins his blade song for the third and final time today. Um, and DM, I did notice that I totally spaced to let you know that it's not programmed right. So if I turn it on, it won't actually like give me the benefits, but I know what they are in my head should they come up.
Oh,
Um,
when you mean when you roll your green blade song, it's not.
uh, well, the blade song is a feature, kind of like a barbarian's rage, where in this case I get to add like my intelligence modifier to my armor class, my speed increases, that kind of thing. There's no
Okay.
effects tagged with it to actually show up on my sheet should you like target me with an attack, but
I
I'll know
see.
what my AC is and I can tell you.
Sweet.
So Blade Song's active bonus action. He's going to go ahead and move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, kind of sidestepping the side here. And now that he's in melee range, he's going to go ahead and let loose with his rapier. First with a booming blade, or I'm sorry, a green flame blade attack,
All right.
which is this one. Normal roll? Yeah. Well,
All right.
but he employs a very common tactic in close combat scenarios where he does a obvious, definitely it's a feint. He's just pulling with him with his first attack clearly to lull him into a false sense of security. As he follows up with a regular swing right off the bat for a 19 to hit this time
He hits.
for a whopping 8 points of piercing damage.
All right. You slice him with your rapier for 8 points of damage, but because you missed your first one, even though the second one hit, Callan looks up at you and just kind of chuckles and shakes his head. And in that moment, it really makes you feel not that great. Not that great, bud.
You missed 2.
Felix is just gonna
just
quick-
looks down.
Felix is just going to look left and right and just see Tara engaged with a combatant. He is going to run over and try to assist her. I'm going to attempt to attack him. Does a 14 hit?
14 does not hit. His armor class is 15.
All right, I will use my extra attack then.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 7.
Swipe. And this elven quickness avoids both strikes.
Just like in a crouch holding out his sword, he's just gonna look at Aerith or this stranger and just be like, "Aye, that's right, eyes on me." All right, I'm gonna end my turn there.
All right.
Okay, as my new friend, Felix, comes over to assist. Is a little stressed about that situation. Thank you, of course. I'm going to look at Arith here in front of me, and I'm going to just like make eye contact. I'm casting suggestion, and it is a wisdom saving throw, DC 16, and I say, "Oh, friend, you don't want to be fighting. This isn't what you want to do today. I think you just want to leave the arena."
Will you actually cast it for me on your character sheet?
Yes.
Thank you. Is that the
Yeah,
sound
no,
effect
that's the
for
game. That's the
suggestion?
game. That's the game.
Or
It's like, what the fuck is that?
I thought that my house was haunted. Of course.
It's
Not my
suggestion.
that
You just
was
haunted this poor guy.
devil.
That's funny.
I thought that was devil like coming to reach my feet. But yeah, okay.
All right. He throws a wisdom saving throw of 10. What do I need? I think I don't hit it. Yeah, 16. No. So let's read what suggestion. Use a course. The target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it pursues the course of action described to the best of its ability. Oh, that's a good one. You can also specify conditions that will trigger a special event. Okay. How does that work? Do I do it on my next turn, or does he take a turn right now? Does anybody know?
That no, that would be on Tara's turn.
So I would just say I'm going to take the turn now. So you charm him, you whisper in his ear, and his eyes just go plain white and he just turns away, drops his weapon on the ground, and starts walking his movement speed out. And uses the remaining speed to climb up. Is out of the arena. Ugh. Salman looks over at Aerith just climbing up the stairs and just walking out. And his dwarven pride kicks over. He gets flustered and he runs up the elevator, climbs up, and uses his remaining movement to grab Aerith and roll against his strength to see. Nope, he tries to grab Aerith, but Aerith just throws him off and he falls down to the ground. And that's his turn, I guess.
I smart thinking, lassie. That doesn't last forever, does it?
No, we should still act.
Oh goodness, alright then.
How long does it have on it, actually? He's spoken to
Duration of
8 hours? Holy
God damn it.
smokes!
It is the spell will end when the subject finishes what they were asked to do.
okay.
So-
But it could take them 8 hours to finish. If I said, hey,
Oh, I see.
start walking, then it would be 8 hours.
So funny. Aerith just proceeds to look at the rest of the people in the tent, his eyes glossy, and he leaves. He just walks out.
I was just hoping for disqualification if he just leave things.
Nobody seems to know what to do. All the spectators are looking. They're like, "What?" You see the game master above, and all this, like the commentators and stuff. They're all looking and whatnot, and they just kind of just shrug their shoulders and let it continue. Whose turn was it after his? Kithis, I guess. That doesn't make no sense. Was it Kithis' turn?
Zag.
I think it was Zag.
Is it
'cause
Zag's? Oh, okay. All right. Where is Zag? Oh, there he is. What's up, buddy? Zag is still looking at Felix, and he just turned to Tara as he watched her whisper into, forget that other dude's name already, but his ear, and he left Eris, and he targets her with his magic missile and lets it fly. Strikes her for 15 damage. All right. Now it's Kithis' turn. Kithis just looks back up at Hal, and with pure determination on his face, just swipes at him once again with his rapier. Oh, he hits. Poking holes in ya for 9 damage. Bing, bing, bing. All right. And Kasaria, wounded, clutching her gaping wound from Jinshi's attack, goes and oh, that's your character sheet. What the heck? And she goes and recklessly attacks, swinging at you with her hand axe with advantage. Is that what it does? Right?
Yeah.
Like first attack on your turn.
Reckless attacks gives you advantage on your rolls, but your enemies also have advantage.
All right.
And that hit me.
So it hit for 8.
Nice.
She seems disappointed with herself. All right.
I will say to her, let's finish this. I have friends to take care of. And I will attack her with my Great of Masters, which means that I will have -5 to hit, but +10 to damage.
Okay.
Right? But I have advantage, so it should. 18.
All right. You hit.
Alright, and this. Alright, so 20.
All right. You hit her again. You hit her hard for 20 damage. She kind of like buckles a little bit and picks herself up.
She's still on her feet.
Just barely. God damn.
Damn it! All right. Well,
Uh,
I don't think that there is. So yeah, let's just get what you're asking.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Oh, is it still your turn? Oh, my bad.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
I have a second attack.
All right.
15.
Okay. So I'm going to use this as a moment, just to like a reminder moment. I won't be doing this much more in the future, but this is a no-kill tournament. So if you guys
Oh yeah.
don't tell me,
Yeah,
if you guys
uh,
don't say that, then yeah.
Okay.
I am just waiting to see if he's the last hit to.
Well, you can still make a
pronounce
non-lethal
this.
attack, which means you can do the full attack damage, but when she
Yeah,
drops to
it's-
0, she just goes unconscious instead of just straight up dead.
Okay, it is non-lethal damage.
All right. So at the 15, you knock her out. Her body just slams onto the floor. The arrows fly out of her quiver and just spread everywhere. And she takes a little
And-
nap.
Okay, I will look at her proud, like both of myself and about her, and with my bonus action because I landed a critical hit, so I have an extra attack. I will come here to help my friend Haluf, and I will make my third attack. So let's go. And dá pra tudo na vida, né? That's
you do not
he
hit.
says.
Okay.
You stumble
Alright,
over.
but I engage with kitties, and I will be helping my boy Haluf.
All right. Okay, how?
So I recklessly attack, and as I do, I just say, "Listen here, young blood. I have sailed the starways. I've crossed time. Who are you?" And then I attack.
You hit. You hit him good.
and Deal 14 damage to him, and then I do my extra attack. I forgot to do master. And then I say, "How much? How much is he paying you to do this? How much?" And then I turn and I look at the game master and I throw a javelin at him.
Oh Jesus!
Okay. You throw the javelin at the game master and you strike him straight through his chest for 12.
What damage?
All right, you strike him for 12 damage. The spear goes through him. He slams back and he gets speared to the wall behind him, and he keels over. Oh, dead.
You the game master?
Blood drips from him. The crowd and everybody stand from their seats in a giant gasp, and chaos starts spreading. All of the people in a panic run out, sprinting outward. Oh god, there's so many people. They all leave. Everybody down in the pit doesn't know what to do. Oh man. And all of a sudden, guards rush in, declaring that the tournament stopped.
I shake my mane and I say, "No one tells me how to fight."
All right.
You
well,
did not need to kill him. Did you lost your fucking mind, Haluf?
I just smile a grin and
This is not time for smiles.
look at the guards and I just like,
You just committed a crime. You just murdered someone in front of a crowd.
yes, the guards start circling. They don't know what to do. They don't know whether to step in. You guys are confused.
I
You're
am hands
bickering
up.
amongst yourselves.
I am hands up. Like I will give myself. Yeah.
As the soldiers kind of look at each other and agree to go in, Guildmaster Goldthorn runs in and says, Stop this nonsense now!" And with his like commanding voice, just commands everybody's attention. Just full silence sweeps over the whole tent that was just so chaotic. And he looks across of the pit at Arwen Elfie just hanging there. Blood dripping down his feet. And he looks at your team and he says, "Disqualified! The winners of the Golden Tide tournament." And then he points to the opposing team. He's like, "Are those guys?" But as he says it, there's nobody around.
I throw
So
a
it's just
javelin at him.
Just get the hand on my.
All right, you hit him,
God damn it, Haluf! Stop!
and you spear him for 9 damage. It strikes him. He drops to his knees, but he has 1 health left and does not die. The guards rush down into the pit, not knowing what to do, and the guildmaster just says, "Arrest them." Then all the other opposing team starts looking at you guys and takes up arms. They all kind of run over here, group up, and look at you guys and tell you to throw down your weapons, giving you one last chance to surrender.
I put up my hands and I say, "Just take me." No one else did anything.
And as you
So
okay,
you fought against the guy that told you what to do, and you wanted to win this contest, and now you gave the win for the other team. God damn it!
I feel like I won.
Barbarians,
I
savages.
I got him.
these guys all run in and detain you and start stripping weapons from your body, collecting them.
Hey, be careful with that. That's an heirloom.
Yeah, they kick the bottom of your shin, you fall to your knees, and they start handcuffing you and tying you up.
I give them the Puss in Boots look. You don't hurt me.
It doesn't matter. they're so
Yeah, it
laser
is
focused.
like nothing mattered.
The guild master pulls out a health potion from his pocket and swigs it back, giving him some health. So he's not so fucking crippled. He pulls a spear from him and is clutching his wound. And he looks over at Hal and says, "Take him away." And these guys all take Hal away. And he looks at the rest of the contestants. Who's left? Hold on. I have to look now. The rest of the contestants, he goes over to them, clenching his wounds, and he hands each of them 166 gold pieces and the medallion, a really badass medallion.
Definitely didn't. Okay, so on a person did not realize that the game master would be so.
Well,
He's like,
it's
"Woman,
too
I'm
late
guessing."
now. People are dead, Hal. Okay? People are dead. All right. With that, guards kind of come in, settle things down. Hal's detained, trying to explain his case to a bunch of guards. And the rest of the guards kind of flush out the tent and kick everybody back out to the main area. Hold on. Let me pull that up. All right. Everybody exits the tent except for Hal. Hal gets to stay over here with an escort of troops.
Oh look, the game master's still alive.
No, this guy's carrying his lifeless body. The game master is dead. They're carrying.
God damn it!
He's carrying the game master off. All right. With that, the people outside, there's just chatter. They're looking at your team in horror, horrified by your actions and upset that the festival was ruined. Although with amongst the somber attitudes, music starts to pick up in the distance. And as people tune into the music, they start smelling the scent of foods being cooked and roasted again. And the ambience kind of starts to turn more back into a cheerful festival as people try to enjoy the remainder of their festival. All right. This is the part where I don't know how this is going to work, but I kind of turn it over to you guys.
Felix is gonna equip his longsword back onto the buckle of his back, and he's gonna say, I'm so sorry, everyone. I knew we wanted to fight for the entertainment of the people, and some of you for your goldly reward, and some of you for pride. I didn't expect that level of pride, I hate to say.
Everybody looks up at you and the rest of your group, and this guy steps out. He's just like, "What about the rest of you? What do you have to say for yourselves?" Like the whole crowd's just laser focused on your group right now.
Hail, and I apologize for the actions of that man. I will not call him a companion. I had nothing to do with that, but if there is something that I can do to help restore order or build something, I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
Felix will speak up, hearing Jinshi talking about righting wrongs, and he will say, "Good sir, do you know where we can find who is in charge of the Gold Tides Festival? Someone above the Game Master, perhaps? They can't be running the entire festival."
This girl looks at you and says, "The Golden Tides Festival is run by the Merchants Guild. So the person behind it would have been the Game Master runs it, but Guildmaster Goldthorn as well." And then this chick steps up and she's just like, "But you speared them both."
I understand that my current new acquaintance just so happened to throw a spear through them, but I believe in right and wrongs, and I believe in the good of others. It's not an easy situation, and I understand your anger, but I want to make right by the people here.
So can I
know
have
that
everybody
nothing
roll a
will bring
d20?
the life of that man back, but yeah, if there is anything that we can do, it's the least we can do.
Actually, can everybody roll me a charisma check, please, including Hal?
Persuasion?
Just straight charisma.
Straight for you, okay.
DM, can you make that roll for me?
Yes.
Oh god. You Deus?
Okay.
God damn it, it's my fourth critical today.
Okay, so Felix, the crowd looks at you and does not hear your sentiment and still resents you. Jin Shi and Terra, they hear you and forgive you. Valen, they do not forgive you. And Hal, they don't hate you, but they do not forgive you. And the festival commences back up. All right, it's your guys' turn. Your guys' time.
I believe we must find the head of the Merchants Guild and see if there's anything that we can speak about. I would like to know if they knew about the Game Master's plans and us throwing the match for them.
Hold on. Where is... God, I have so many folders inside of folders. This is getting nuts. The Guildmaster humbles... He hobbles out of the tent and goes up to Hal and the rest of the guards and looks at Hal. And he says, you can either spend your time in jail or you can pay us a fine of 300 gold pieces and we will let you go.
You think the Game Master's life was only worth 300 gold pieces?
He looks at you and says 600 gold pieces. Still clutching his open wound from when you stabbed him, speared him.
Terra, you've shown that you can heal others with your magics. Can you do the same for the guild, Master?
I certainly. I have a little bit of my magic left for these trials, and I'll look at the Game Master. Would you allow me to help tend to your wounds?
He's like holding his wound and he looks up at you and looks over at Hal and goes, if you can heal me, I'll drop the price back down to 300 gold pieces.
I look at Hal. He's going to let us help. Hal, right?
Hal just shrugged.
All right.
Well, it's not a lot, but...
Well, it helps. As you cast your magic on him, you see his wound kind of like start fusing back together. And he sighs of relief and he says, fine. He looks at Hal and he says, so what'll it be, Hal? 300 gold pieces or the jail? Yeah. What the fuck is the word?
How long do I have to spend in jail?
1 hour.
I murdered the Game Master of the whole Golden Tides Fair. I spend an hour in jail. I will do it. And then he kind of pushes through the guards and he's like, I've spent so many years wandering this place. Time I've been in prison the whole time. Nothing to me.
So as you say that, they put a bag over your head and detain you and whatnot.
Smells like potatoes in here.
And for the next hour until 9:12, you are in jail. All right. As for the rest of you, I think I had a dialogue to read that I didn't read. Let me make sure it wasn't important.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't important.
I had no idea he was going to be so weak.
It's just a poor little game master. Speared him with your javelin. Poor guy.
I'd be quicker than me.
All right. The festival's kicking off. Does anybody want to go and speak to anybody, or how do we want to spend the remainder of the festival?
I want to search for Kazaria, see if she's alright, if she's okay, because I landed heavy blows against her, so I want to check on her.
Okay.
I would like to see if Felix can speak to the Game Master. Or, I mean, the Guild Master, sorry.
Yes, Felix can speak to the Guildmaster. Guildmaster kind of walks over and addresses you.
Good sir, I apologize for the poor showing to the end of that tournament there. I had no intention. I'm very sure none of my associates here had any intention of scaring the good people here and the common folk.
The game master kind of looks at you in the group, and he's just like, "Well, it wasn't the way we expected to end the Golden Tides tournament." And then you see like just a smirk kind of come across his face, and he goes, "But at least it ended the way we. Never mind. It ended a good way. So tough loss."
Insight check?
All right, roll an
I know
insight
it's kind of obvious, but
roll an insight check.
am I luck? All right. 17.
You read his face and you can tell something's weird. But the game master just kind of shrugs it off and goes back to collects himself again. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of the festival. I guess if you guys are attending the demonstration later, find me then. And he just stumbles off.
Is
Talks to
the
these people.
guildmaster an Inalt elf? Did I know that? Or...
He is an adult elf.
I will have Felix look over the Jinsi and Valen and say, "Is this a man of certain importance, or are they usually like this?"
How familiar would I be with this particular man, or at least his position?
So Valen is the only one that would be familiar with this man, and you recognize Guildmaster Aegis Goldthorn. The Goldthorns are a very rich and wealthy and popular name within Moon Harbor, and the Guildmaster is because he, in particular, is Guildmaster of the Merchants Guild, who is throwing this festival.
Okay. Then he would reply, well, his family does come with some notoriety as leader of the guild here in town. He definitely has some weight.
I see. Then, if the game master wanted us to draw this match, would they have also wanted the same thing? I can't tell by the way he's smiling. The way he talks, it's funny.
Well, it was hard to ignore the fact that he gave both I and my kin over there odd glares before we entered combat. It was clear that he had some beef with us. And if I'm to be honest, I can expect that sort of behavior in my direction these days, but I'm not really sure about him.
Well, regardless of what we've done, we've scared the people. Deathless, I would say. We need to figure out a way, whether it be through the guild master or someone else, how to fix this. Or unfortunately, and he's going to look over to where Hal has walked off to and just sigh and shake his head and say, we could do the right thing, not the good thing, and just leave these people and not scare them anymore.
No one hears you screaming, Hal. You're gagged, and you have a bag over your head. You're just sitting up there making noise. The guards are just kind of like kicking you.
Of course, we'll have to wait for this Wolfsbane to get released, but I feel like I need to have a talking to him.
If you want to talk to that savage, it's your doing.
Let's refrain from calling him a savage for now. There might be a story that we haven't read in that book of his that we don't know yet.
No, everything that he did until now is telling a story about time travel that no one understands, and he just killed the game master on the spot in front of a crowd.
Believe me, I am not okay with him killing the guild master either. It was a poor show and scared everyone deathless. But the story about
Scared
the time
everyone.
travel.
One person died. A man died. You understand
Yes,
that?
Yes, I do, and I understand that Howl will answer for his crimes, whether it be through prison or paying the fine or even both. It's why I want to talk to him. I want to figure out what was going on in his head.
Yeah, I can understand that he's doing his time right now, but what makes you think that he will not do this again?
I don't know, but I want to make sure that he won't. And if he won't, then unfortunately I see no point in traveling with company like that, as much as I hate to say.
All right.
Like all that stuff about the game master asking us to lose the final combat, it was very strange. True. All right, but that does not justify killing him.
No, I agree. It does not justify killing the game master. There must have been a much better approach we could have made. We could have won and helped the people and made them happy, and then confronted the game master after, or even the guild master who just talked to us. But we're in a
DM,
very much different
I
situation now.
DM, I have a question.
Yes.
What kind of attention, like the notes of someone killing the game master on the spot on the last combat of the special edition of the Gold Tides Festival, will attract?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
What kind of attention, like how much attention the killing of a game master on the spot on the final combat of the special edition of the Golden Tides Festival will attract?
Understand. This is something that people will definitely be whispering about for the next while. Although,
And they will probably talk about the person who killed the game master and the person who was fighting alongside with the person who killed the game master, right?
I mean, they've forgiven some of you, and then they haven't forgiven most of you yet. If that answers your question.
Tô sentindo firmeza nisso daí, velho. I am not sure about that, man. Alright.
You hear Casaria kind of thumping, coming up to you. You see a bandage wrapped around her waist where you just completely annihilated her with your long sword. And she comes up and she says, Jin!
El Cazar, that was a good fight. I'm kidding. That was not. It was better back then.
She looks at you with just like pure disgust. You and her lock eyes with like this super passionate rivalry, and then all of a sudden it just breaks, and the both of you break and start laughing, and you guys embrace.
I will hug her. God damn it! It has been a long time.
She says, "Yes, it has. I'm surprised you got my message to come to the Golden Tides tournament."
Well, I will not be crazy to decline an invitation from a friend.
And she just laughs and she's like, "Well, it's good to see you, Jin." Let me scroll down to wherever she is at. Yeah. She looks at you and she's like, "So, are you still part of the military? Are you mounting up and heading north?"
No, my days in the military are I left behind. That I am just, traveling, seeking job, and well, let's just say that the brutal display, the vulgar display of power on that on that last combat was not something I was part of.
And she looks and she says, "We've all had questionable companions." And she says, "Remember when I used to run with the Centaur Resistance?" She's like, "Now look at me, fighting for the Golden Empire." She just kind of laughs.
Yeah, well, yeah, but what are you doing in here? What are you going to do for the next days?
She looks at you and she's like, "Well, ever since you defeated us in our battle, I turned my life and instead devoted my military strategies. I pledged to the Golden Forces. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, Golden Forces.
I signed with the Golden Forces, and they've just called all of us on standby up north. They're amassing an army north. No one really knows what for, but." She kind of laughs and she's like, "Knowing these elves, it's probably to conquer something."
The Northern Wars is still the rage zone.
She looks at you and she's like, "I don't quite really know the reason. I just know that I obey orders. But yes, they're pulling all the military units north. No one knows what. But rumors are they're building an army of ships, larger than the world has ever seen. Who knows? We might be getting off of this rock." Just kind of laughs. She laughs, but she's like ready. She's like making fun of the fact that she has to go, but you can just tell she's super excited just to like get back into combat.
I know that you will, conquer half of the land that you will be sent off. We will be doing something tomorrow. We could, get out, get some drinks.
She looks at you and she says, "Unfortunately, I'm heading out tonight." Then she kind of looks over your shoulder and sees the rest of the party sitting there. She says, "Who are these fine warriors?"
These are the thing I was pirate. I don't know the word in English. I'm sorry. By the game master, who's now dead. Anyway, this is Tara. This is Valen, good man, and this is Felix.
She walks up to Valen and she like reaches her arm out, in a very distinct centaur way.
He'll kind of look at it at first and like, how clean the arm?
She just kind of snarls at you, and she's just like typical elves. Then walks over to Terra and does the same expression to her.
I'm not entirely sure what the greeting meant to be, but I try to take her arm as well, reciprocate in some fashion.
So as you guys like lock arms, she just pulls you and does like this weird embrace thing with you, and you're just being tugged along. And she throws you kind of back, and you're just like, whoa. And she's just like, ah. Then she looks at Felix, and she kind of like gets down like a horse does, you know. She puts her front legs down, then her back legs. She does the same thing for Felix.
I almost feel a little bit of shame offering you my left arm.
You grab with the left arm, and it's awkward the way you guys grab. But she does the same thing. She goes and pulls you in, but because you're so small, she just yanks you. She's lifting you in the air and does this weird gesture, greeting gesture. It's in the centaur form. Sets you down. And just says, well, it's nice to meet you. She's like, up until the end, you guys fought well, like a well-oiled machine. Almost like you guys have fought together before. She's like, a group like this is very rare to come by. Adventurers are starting to become far and few between nowadays. She kind of looks back at Jinshi.
I don't know if we are traveling together or not, but well, we have some things to discuss after the death of the Game Master. But I wish you a good travel and farewell, Epazar. We may meet again in the future.
She looks at you and she says, yep, I'm heading back to the city of Daltheria. There, I'm going to pack up my things, and then I'll be heading north.
I remember conquering that town. Super amazing.
She just kind of chuckles. She's like, it's changed a lot since then, Jin. It's like, now it's my home. She's like, well, if I still have a home to come back to after the war. And even though it's like a somber statement, she says it with like excitement. And she says, if you guys manage to come to Daltheria, definitely make sure you swing by. I have a house there, and you're always welcome, Jin. She looks at the rest of you. Does a little centaur bow.
I appreciate your hospitality, Alcazaria, and sure, I will check on you if I ever go to that area once again.
She says, I'll hold you to that, Jin. She looks and she says, we'll see each other again soon. And then
I hope so.
She hugs you and embraces you again, and then begins
Take
to
care.
walk off back towards Daltheria.
Oh,
Agency, you two seem like good comrades.
well, our relationship is a little bit complicated. Yeah, we fight against each other during the Northern Wars, but now we are friends somehow. She's a good person, and I just hope like she take care of herself because she's reckless.
Don't you worry, laddie. Have faith in your friends and have faith in their strength, and I'm sure they'll come back to you.
Yeah, I have faith in all of you too, Bathing, Felix, Terra. So, what are you all going to do right now?
Felix kind of looks over, and he kind of sees the crowd and how they reacted to him and how they don't enjoy his presence, and he says, well, I believe I ought to leave you all to it. If you all want to go anywhere, or perhaps take our business elsewhere so that we don't upset more of the locals, I could start going around, look for a carriage, see if I can pay the fee for all of us. Perhaps an inn to stay for the night.
Alright, Onion sounds like a good idea. Well, and I think that we are bound to discover whatever that proposal from the Game Master was.
So as you guys are chatting, you look over and you notice the guild master and Aegis are talking. But as they're talking, you notice it's not normal talking. They're kind of like whispering back and forth with one another in a very peculiar way. This guy comes over and tries to look, and the guild master just like gives him a glance and summons him away. And the area kind of clears. People understand, almost look like they're fearful of the guild master, and decide to give him his space.
He's gonna shake his head, not wanting to distract himself and trying to think of a good way to handle this. And he's gonna look over at Jinshi, Valen, and Terra, all of them together, and say, Terra, you did well with what you could with your songs, and I hope you get to play them more as time goes on. Valen, I don't know what magic you managed to cast with your sword, but it's quite impressive, and I hope I get to see it more. Oh, and Jinchi,
Me.
you're very talented, whatever crafty sword you have on your back there. Just, I warn you to be careful wherever you be swinging it. And Felix is going to walk off and try to find an inn or a carriage.
Okay.
I like your funny words, furry man.
All right. Well, as Felix is leaving, you kind of hear the guildmaster once again shout and command the attention of everybody. I don't know what he does. He like coughs or he does something powerful, and everybody looks over at him, and he just says, "Well, unfortunately, the event tonight is cancelled. The Chronodream Mage Finor has fallen ill, and we will be postponing the show." So, and then he goes like that, and all the guards start kind of rushing in and pushing people out of the festival, kind of rough and rudely, just like a very abrupt. Everyone was having fun. Now the guards are in, pushing people out. He looks over and spots you guys and walks up to you, and he just says, "Listen, even though it was not, or didn't go as according to plan, it was indeed entertaining." He's like, "You guys deserve a rest. I recommend you hit the inn, recollect yourselves, and then whenever you're ready, you can come back and see me. I always have work for good adventurers." And he says it in kind of like a peculiar, sneaky way. All right. So now that the festival is winding down, the guards are clearing everybody out. Is there any final things you guys would like to do?
Felix would like to ask the nearest Aetherian soldier where the closest inn is.
The Etherean soldier looks at you and he goes, "North." He's like, between the slums and the Commonwealth. It's like, you should see it. Just smell for the warm apple pie.
Warm apple pie. I thank you for your directions, lad. I hope you have a good day. And he's gonna go with the directions he's been given to go find the inn and purchase a room for everybody.
Okay. Did anybody else have any business?
Before Aegis would leave our little band here, I think Valen would like to address him and ask, you mentioned a moment ago that Fëanor has fallen ill. In what way?
He just looks and he just shrugs his shoulders and he's like, "Young Callan there just told me that has," and then Callan goes, "A cough." He's like, yes, a cough. Something like that. He's back at the inn resting.
Which inn?
The inn. Fortunately, we only have one inn here. The Moon Harbor Inn.
Right.
If you need a name, I guess.
Very well. I do hope that you will not hold one gruff companion actions against the entire team. I feel like we all, especially myself, have earned some mettle in the contest. So I do hope you bear that in mind for any future business with the House Islandir, Mr. Goldthorn.
Goldthorn. Sorry, say that again. I was responding to Hal. Sorry, my bad.
No, it's all right. He just basically said, don't hold Hal's actions against team, especially Valen, because he performed quite well, and he would like to have some kind of medal or noteworthy respect from the battle that just took place, and to remember that in dealing with House Elundir. And then he made a mention of his own surname of Goldthorn as a sort of like house respect, or trying to at least.
The guildmaster just kind of laughs at you, not in a mean way. He just kind of giggles, and then turns around and just says, "Oh, you Aelindiers, you're definitely known for one thing." And then he just looks at you blankly. He doesn't say a goddamn thing. He just turns away. He goes, "Anyways, you guys, you're contenders of the 50th Golden Tides tournament. Yeah, contenders. Yeah?"
Valen's just staring at him, his eyes kind of narrowed, and his hand isn't on the guard of his rapier, but he definitely has the thumb along the outside guard of the scabbard. He's like flicked it like an inch to reveal about an inch of the blade, just in case he has to draw it in a pinch.
He just laughs. He's like, "Oh yes, what a nice ring to it. The contenders of the 50th Golden Tide Festival. starts kind of skipping away, and as he skips away, you hear him say, "The losers of the 50th Golden Tide Festival." And Callan kind of
I'm gonna kill
laughs
him.
and snarls, and they start walking off. All right. Any other business anybody would like to attend to as the guards start ushering people out of the festival?
I think that I will just like head to the inn and try to keep my head off about the death of the game master.
Poor guy. Speared. He was young too, and he was rich. What are you, Tal, doing? All right, you do it. You grab a pebble and you throw it, and it lands at the guildmaster's feet. And he looks up, and he comes over to this guard and says, "You know what? Go over there and just rough him up a little bit." And the guard just kind of looks over at the guard and like nods his head. And these guys just come up and just start kicking and jumping poor Hal. And he loses 5 health as they're just beating him up. They get done, and Hal's just sitting there, and the guildmaster just laughs, clutching his wounds that's still pretty sore.
He stands back up and brushes it off, and then like there's little paws tied together. Like, come on, do it again.
And they do. They beat you up, kick you, beat you, and hit you, and you lose another 5 health. So as Hal's just getting pummeled in the corner over here, are we ready to go to the inn?
Yeah, Valen would offer to lead the remaining 2 over here to the inn, assuming that they aren't locals. I guess he wouldn't really know, but he knows the way, and he'll leading them to the inn.
All right. Cool. The Golden Tide Festival calms down. What a wonderful day full of eventful memories. Very eventful memories. And now we're going to go. So, let me get your guys' tokens. Boom, boom. Players. Felix, Al, Jin, Kaz, Terra, Valen. Al's here too, but he's technically still in jail. Yes. All right. You guys arrive at the inn. You guys follow the sweet smell of apple and berry pie. Famous what the inn is known for. As you guys walk in, the subtle sound of light music plays, although there is not a bard in sight.
I'll look over. I'll look over to the man behind the desk, and Felix will ask, is there an attendant playing in the room?"
And Nal just looks over and he's just like, "Yeah, of course there's an attendant playing. Can't you hear?"
Aye, I can. It's good music. Sorry, I'm distracted. My name is Felix. May I have your name?
He looks and he's like, "I'm Nal Dwet." He's like, "The Wolfsbane's hired me to look after the keep ever since the passing of his grandmother."
I'm very sorry to hear that, Mr. DeWitt. I give my condolences however I can.
He looks and he's just like, "Oh well, she was old. Like really, really old. So it's not that big of a surprise." It's like Kithis wasn't really that torn up about it. He never had the greatest relationship with her anyway.
I understand. If I may, I have a few friends that will be coming soon. I was wondering if I could grab a few inn rooms for them. There'll be 6 of us and a little dog.
He looks at you and he's just like, "I only see 4 of you."
One is currently preoccupied, and the other is taking their dog out for a walk.
He just looks and he's like, "And you're gonna pay for all of their rooms?" And he like looks over at the rest of the party.
It depends on how much, but I would like to if I can.
He looks
If
over
you
at
insist.
Valen and he looks down at your signet and he goes, "Isn't that an Aelindir signet?" He's like, "This guy should have money. He should pay for it."
No. He's gonna look over at Valen nervously and say, "No. I am taking responsibility for this. I will be the kind one, and I will help you all after what happened in paying for your inn room for tonight. It's the least I can owe to you."
Well, the offer is greatly appreciated there, Felix. However, I would not be Eilundir if I allowed someone like you to pay for my accommodations. I could, at the very least, afford my own. Thank you, though.
I understand. Then perhaps if we can agree on it, you may pay for your own room, and I can help everyone else. Does that seem fair?
Fair enough for me.
All right.
I don't want to get too much of your hospitality, Felix, but thank you.
So Noir looks and he's like, all right, well, in order to purchase things, I am what we call a vendor NPC. You can tell because I have this fancy little money sign in my name. You have to be within 5 feet of me, and then once you're near me, you can double click and it will open up my shop. Even those of you that aren't buying keys, might be smart for you to do it. This was a good learning experience.
Mhm.
You open up the shop. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a shop. You buy what you want. How long rests work in this game is in order to long rest, you need to consume 10 food rations of any sort, as long as they're not raw. Yeah. In order to buy a room, in this instance, you would buy a room key. It would add it in your inventory as a consumable, and then you would go and then consume it, and it will unlock a door to the room.
Felix will look over to Nal and say, Mr. Dwetlad, how many bedrooms do your in-rooms hold?
He looks and he's like, well, there's one small bed in each room.
Aye, so it's only for one person per room then, yeah?
He looks at you and he says, yep.
He will look over to Valen and say, you buy yourself a key. I will purchase the 5 other keys for the others. Oh,
He'll just nod in response. On that note, DM, is the gold amount that we have at our character sheets the accurate amount? 'Cause I know that's different than what like my my D&D Beyond sheet has me at. So should I go off of what you've given us, or
So I just gave everybody 100 gold to start with.
okay?
I guess
That's nice.
if it bothers you and you have more gold and you want to use it, I don't really mind if you could go off of your D&D Beyond sheet. But yeah, I gave everybody 100 gold, and then gold in this game will come pretty easy too. So
Okay, yeah, no, I would have had less usually, so I won't complain about the extra gold.
yeah, no, I gave everybody 100 gold to start with. Y'all are intrepid adventurers. You guys have already been and done some shit, so you guys came in here with weapons already, fighting skills, a little bit of gold in your pocket, stories. You're like actual people. Holy
It
smokes.
looks like he only had the one key to sell.
Did he really? Oh my gosh, hold on, I need to.
yeah.
My bad. Let me figure it out. Infinite quantities. Hide new items. Okay. My bad.
I'm sorry.
There you go. Infinite keys. Hooray!
Nice.
I think they're infinite. We'll figure it out.
I guess if does Jinxie actually buy himself a key to a room though? Out of curiosity, Jinxie.
Yeah, I bought.
Jinxie does have a
Oh, okay.
residence in Moon Harbor. So I guess if
Oh.
Jinxie
Ella has
didn't,
this in Muhammad?
if Jinxie don't want to buy a key, I guess you can tell me that you're going home to sleep and you'll rendezvous the next morning. So
I didn't know that I had a residence in Muhammad, but all right, I will check this out later. Not sure.
or not Jinxie, I mean Valen. I'm sorry.
Oh, all right. I was
Valen
like, oh,
has a residence in Moon Harbor. Sorry.
Yes, he does, and he certainly pondered it. But after the events of today's tournament, I don't think he wants to go and deal with whatever aftermath might come from his home life just yet. So I think he's just fine staying out for a little bit longer.
Cool. So yeah, if
Right,
you've all bought your keys at this point, you would just go in front of whatever door that you want, consume your key, and then we'll unlock the door. And then yeah,
Felix will look over to Tara and everyone else, and he says, "Aye, so I'm buying a key for myself, Tara, Kaz, and Hal whenever he gets back. Aye, 4 it'll be then."
Hal I think is spending the night in jail.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and that
then
being
can-
said, you can long rest in jail, Hal, if you want, but if you have food rations to do so. Yes.
is it okay if I sell back one of them then?
Yes, but another good thing about
Oh.
thing about merchants is every merchant, right off of meeting it, has to make a profit. So unless you have done things for them or built a relationship with them, their haggling price is about 50% right off the bat.
Okay. Buy back. I may as well buy one of these.
Before leaving the bar innkeep here, he is going to go ahead and ask him about his friend and mentor, who he was told was staying here. I've been told that Professor Nolderin is here, under the weather, perhaps.
He looks and he's like, yes, he is here. He's been asleep for a while in his room, It's rather odd, but he's not dead. So,
Hasn't even checked recently.
and he looks at you and he's just like, well, you see, this isn't a normal inn. This is a very special, magical inn. And he kind of like points up, and you guys look up, and he says, hence the music playing. That being said, I have a magical heartbeat monitor and a life or death monitor, if you will, and it shows me right here. And he does some hand motions, but like nothing's happening. He's like clicking and pointing and doing some stuff. He's like right here. Says he's still alive. Says he's still breathing. Says he's just asleep.
Right. Well, would you mind informing me of his room number or where I can find him?
He goes, room number this one. I guess, can you see that marker? No?
Yes. Is that you over here?
Yeah. He's
Okay,
in
yes, I see that.
that room. He's like, but as I request of all of our guests, I'd prefer if you left him be. Let the man sleep. This is an inn after all. I'm sure in the morning he'll be available to talk.
Well, you mentioned he's been asleep for quite a long time. Has it been all day?
Well, you could say that.
Then perhaps he's due for a wake-up call.
And Nual just says, nah, he'll be fine in the morning. He's like old Fenor. He always comes through this side of town. Him and his naps.
Would Valen have any recollection of his mentor being narcoleptic or sleeping for long periods of time, or is this out of character for him?
This is out of character for him. Instead, he's more of the opposite, like a workaholic kind of type person.
Okay, he's gonna totally dismiss this innkeeper and begin making his way in this direction.
All right. I was like, you don't have to move your tile one by one. I mean, you can just straight drag it over there if you want.
He's pacing slowly.
I suppose while Valen is doing that, Felix will look over at Duet and say, Oi, lad, if I may ask, do you have a place where I can set up some food and drink? And he's going to point over to this door and say, would I be able to have it here?
He looks and he's just like, well, I don't know about that. That's the boss's primary residence back there. They say not to let anybody back there, so probably not.
Oh, I apologize for that. I will refrain from going in there then.
But you're more than welcome to use the stove here if you need to prepare some food.
And he's gonna pull it out. I do have some brewing supplies that I could make tea with. Would that be all right?
He's like, yeah, sure. It's like sugar's over there.
He's gonna just get to work on this pantry and just start making some tea.
All right. Cool.
If one were to want to use the key to open a door, what's the process for that?
The key would be tied to a specific room that's not occupied, so you wouldn't be able to necessarily use it to open the professor's door, but you could use it to claim an unoccupied room.
Okay, I went to the door across the hall from where he said he was, so I thought this might be empty. But I guess if it doesn't work, it's not vacant.
Well, this room is clear. So did you use your key already? There you go.
I did.
All right, there you go.
No, now it opens.
And if Jinshi and you guys want to claim a room and unlock your stuff as well, that's fine.
I must use like the key on my inventory, right?
Yep, you just click on it and roll it, and when you roll it, it'll like consume it, basically. Bam. All right, Jinshi, there you go.
All right, and I can like this one here.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Tara, did you claim a room yet?
No, I was trying to get down that hallway.
Sorry. The walls
No,
might be a
no.
little goofed up.
Good.
All right. You've claimed a room as well. Was there any business that you guys wanted to attend before you take a nightly little nappy nap?
I am gonna roll my brewer supplies to see how well I brew some tea.
All right.
And just kind of while everyone's settling before officially going, Tara's just gonna kind of take up a seat in front of the fireplace seating area and just take out her deck of cards and just kind of work through them and practice, still familiarizing herself with some of those, just kind of
All right. As you
not
flip through
watch,
your
but just
cards,
listen.
yeah, as you flip through your cards on the floor, the fire burns, the sweet smell of pie, and that familiar scent of the inn envelops you, and it is in this moment that you find peace. All right, and then Felix, you rolled a 19 on your brewer supply, so you brew some yummy, tasty tea. I don't have an item created for tea, but I guess if you want to go into your character sheet and add a consumable item, just title it T and leave it blank. On the next session, I'll go and I'll clean it up and give it all the stuff it needs.
Well, it's all good. I'm kind of just doing it for roleplay purposes.
I mean, you know,
Hmm.
if you want, I guess.
Here, I'll see if I can do that. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, whoa, whoopsie. 2.
Any other business to attend to, or
Didn't you will meditate about the events of this day and like the death of that man while trying to take some notes out of his art, and we'll spend like soft moment after brutality.
okay? Jinshi is in his room. The silence around him kind of envelops him as he begins to meditate into a deep, contemplative state.
Valen will begin banging on the professor's door.
All
and
right.
calling after him.
You bang on his door and you call his name out, and you wait a few seconds. Sorry. So yeah, banging on his door. You're calling his name out. You wait a few seconds, and nothing happens.
He'll probably try again, even louder, and you can call out to him, Professor, it's time to get up. Come on now.
You bang on his door again. You wait a few moments, and you don't hear anything.
Okay. I need to check something. Well, his room is in the interior, right? There's no window access. No.
There's not.
By chance, can he look around? Is there any staff or other patrons nearby that I just can't see on the map here?
There's not. It is at this point late in the evening. Everybody that would be here is in their room asleep.
Okay. Then can he go ahead? Can he kneel down and take a peek through the keyhole and see if he can see anything?
Sure. Will you go ahead and roll an investigation check for me?
Investigation, yes, I can do that.
Yeah, I can do that.
Oof.
So
10.
you look through the keyhole and you see the room, but it's very dark. All the lights are turned off, and you don't necessarily see anything. But you do start faintly hearing a noise in the distance. Will you roll another investigation check for me?
Yeah. Do you want investigation or perception?
Perception, actually. That's smart.
Okay. I'm worse at that, but I'll take it. Oh.
So even though you don't see anything through the keyhole, you kind of press your ear up against the side of it after hearing this noise, and you hush your breathing, and you listen closely, and it's silent. And out of nowhere, you just hear the world's most monstrous snore happen. It's so reverberous, it rumbles the room. You have to pull your ear from the keyhole a little bit, and you hear him inside snoring, deeply snoring.
All right. Well, with that, he'll kind of scoff a bit and stand up, kind of brush off his knees, and a bit defeated, he'll go ahead and make his way back out to the main foyer, and probably have a seat on the chair opposite of. Oops, I can't go there. Over here, in the chair in front of the fire, and kind of pull out his spell book for a bit.
All right. So as you're all winding down, yeah, Felix.
While Jinshi has the door open, I was gonna have Felix, while holding on to his brewer supplies, acting as like a small little stand that he has 3 piping hot teacups with. He's just gonna gently knock on the door by just taking his right foot and hitting it against the frame a little bit, and he's gonna say, "Oi, Jinshi laddie."
I forgot to close the door on Foundry, but yeah, let's get into it. I will receive the tea, and I will take a sip. How is the tea? I'm asking, if it is good, it is bad.
He rolled a 19, so it would probably be a very nice, sweet, unsweetened tea.
Nice. So he will take a sip. He will see that that tastes very good, and he will takes one more and say that's very good. That will help me to keep my mind calm and clean after today.
Thank you for your kind words. You be meant in Titan.
I did not understand. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Felix looked over to Jinshi and asked, you be meditating?
I was just taking some notes out of my art, but no, I'm not meditating.
Oh, I understand then. Well, I hope the tea that I gave you helps you with the rest for tonight. If you need anything, I'll be in one of my rooms. You can ask for
It
my
will,
hand.
it will sure help me in this hot drink. And I want you to know that you fought well on that tournament. And if you need anything, you can just come to my room and ask me. I will do my best. If I'm not sleeping, if I am sleeping, let me sleep.
Oh no, of course. I wouldn't want to disturb your beauty sleep, as I believe you elves call it. I know how
Yeah,
important it is.
something
for
like
you.
that.
But thank you for your kind words. I
Thank
will.
you for the tea.
And he's just gonna leave awkwardly and just start coming over to Tara and Valen.
All right.
He'll be kind and approach Tara first and just offer his tray and 2 teacups that are on the little tray right now.
Thank you, Felix. This
Thank you. I worked a little hard on it. Everyone could use a bit of tea right now.
is common American.
He'll look over to Valen on the opposite chair and he says, "It's not the elven brewed kind, but I can give you the kind that I brew. It's one of a kind."
Well, far be it for me to resist something that is one of a kind.
He will offer up the tray so that you can take a cup of tea.
All right.
He will take it. Is it still warm?
Oh yeah, it's definitely still warm.
Okay, then you'll see him kind of sniff it, and then he'll take his hand and with a slight gesture and wave, he'll go ahead and actually cast prestidigitation to cool the tea down a little bit for him before he begins taking his sip.
All right. So as you all sit around and enjoy your tea, was there any other final business to attend to? You guys are more than welcome to just tell me to go to bed. In these weird moments where it's awkward downtimey, I'll always just ask that, so I might sound like a broken record. But once everybody's at a point where we're yeah, we're ready, we can just move on to the next.
Yeah, I suppose Felix will just surrender to the night for now and try to find a room to occupy.
All right.
Yeah, I think Valen, after some time, would also return to his room. He probably would have been eyeing Tara's card shenanigans. Not entirely sure what to make of them. But as a human, he doesn't care too much to let his interests be known. So he will quietly shuffle his way past her, assuming he leaves first, and make his way to his chambers.
Oh, is this room currently occupied, DM?
Oh, did you want this one? No, you can have that one.
Okay.
All right. You guys all settle down after a hard day. And at this time, if you would please go into your character sheets, consume your 10 rations, however you want to do that. You can click consume on it 10 times, or you can just edit the number to be -10. Eat your 10 food rations, and upon eating the 10 food rations, you can go ahead and long rest. If you guys don't know how to long rest, you guys should. It's the same as short resting in your inventory sheet.
I want to do something then.
Sure.
In this night of sleep, can I clinch on my premonitory dreams, not to gain advantage on not to gain evan inspiration, but to gain some kind of insight of what was the game master approaching us, or his death, and something like that.
So you meditate and you start tuning into these primal visions of yours, and you see flashes. The flashes are hard to understand what's happening, but the thing that is reoccurring is Callan Goldthorn, the archer that you guys fought in the tournament. All these visions, they're confusing, but the same thing is Callan. He keeps popping up throughout your nightly sleep.
I don't like it, but alright.
All right. Well,
I'm afraid. All right. To consume the rations, I have to consume
You don't have to
Oh,
necessarily
okay.
consume it and click it. You can literally just edit the number if that's what it is.
Yeah, like I did 2 bread loaves and I used 2 of everything else to make it to 10. And then I just deleted everything that I used.
You know, so as long as you guys are removing it from your character sheet, we'll consider it consumed. You guys eat a nice, tasty, hearty meal, get a good night's sleep, and regain all your stuff. I think the only person that
All right.
I don't think has long rested yet would be Valen. Still needs a long rest, and I think Hal needs a long rest
Oh
too.
yeah. Right.
Cool.
Long rest. There we go.
All right. So as you guys sleep through the night, let me get some tokens prepped real fast. If you guys could go ahead and roleplay for me, snoring.
Let's put my mic up to my son.
All right. And then one final one. Let me do it. All right. You wake from your sleep, initially feeling the rejuvenating embrace of a night well rested. As you gear up, latching your boots and strapping your equipment, an inexplicable wave of restlessness washes over you. Despite the full night's rest at Moon Harbor Inn, a sudden drain of energy grips you, making each movement feel like a deliberate effort. Your head feels heavy, your thoughts muddled. Stepping into the corridor, the scene unfolding before you brings an immediate sense of urgency. Town guards, their expressions grave, are carrying out a lifeless body from one of the neighboring rooms. Strikingly, the body bears no visible signs of blood or injury. Its sudden lifelessness, a chilling puzzle, suddenly broken up by a big, loud snore. And you see these guards, they're all carrying this guy out. Yep. And then
Good.
Hal is released from jail too. So I guess you can
Hal
re-enter.
comes stumbling in, bloodied, and almost stabbed.
If we're all privy to this escort of what I assume is the older man, can Valen try to hail them and where are you taking him?
The guards like look over at you and just drop his lifeless body, and they all kind of take a gasp and a breath, and they say, "We've been instructed to take them to the hospital. We got another one of the sleepers, is what we're calling them."
Aye, the sleepers?
The sleepers?
He looks at you and he's like, "Yeah." And as they haul him out, they're like, "This is the 6th one this week." And he just hauls him out, slowly just dragging him.
As they walk past all these like Carl, Bill, Philip, Jason.
What's a sleeper? What's going on here? What's a sleeper? What's going on here?
A sleeper. They like kind of get annoyed, and they drop the body again. Dunk, hits the floor.
We
And the guard looks over at you and he's just like, "Look,
That's illegal.
we don't really have many more answers than you, okay? All we know is that some of these people just been going to sleep, can't wake up, no matter what we do, and they just stay asleep, okay?" He's like, "We've already had 2 people die from this already." As they like start picking him up and hoisting him back out. And they're like, "We would love to know answers, but until we do, we'll keep all the sleepers at the hospital." They just kind of keep just dragging him and pulling him.
Felix is going to look over to Valen and Tara, very concerned, and say, I know I've made it clear that I'm not an expert in magic, but is there anything that you 2 know, or any curse that could cause that?
Yes, the Blunty is right. Most of the time, that spell is, well, very momentary. If given enough time, I can perhaps see if there's any magic currently surrounding him, but it would take some time. I might have to follow him to the hospital and see if I can.
Felix is going to peer over Valen's shoulder real quick and see if they left the door unlocked to his inn.
They did.
Felix is going to look over to Valen and kind of hold a finger up and say, "It might be more privy that we look in the good professor's room. Perhaps you can find clues there."
I suppose it's possible. At the very least, we would not want to leave his effects to be taken by ne'er-do-wells. And knowing that he's going to the hospital, he'll make his way towards the room.
Alright.
If I can help any way, I will. And he's gonna look over and he's gonna see Hal, and just kind of make direct eye contact with him for a second, then look away, kind of just hood covering the face, and then just look over at Jinchi.
Yeah, like I just wake up from my sleep and then I discover that some people that goes to sleep in this town, like just never wake up. Yeah, that's pretty ominous.
Aye, Jinshi, Terra, why don't you go and help Valen out with their little investigation and follow them to the hospital? I need to have a small word for a moment, and he's gonna like use his sword like a cane and just cane over.
All right.
Sure, I think.
Hey,
Aye, so did you get good rest, laddie?
nope.
I figured.
Hal spits out some blood. They beat me all night. Look at this. And he turns and like he's got a real like large scar now across his neck. Pretty cool, right?
Jinshi will whisper to Valen. It is still less than what he actually deserves.
Felix is gonna kind of like pout a little upset at Haluf even when he points out the scar, and he's just gonna look him in the eye again and say, "Why don't you keep your seat right over there? I'm gonna make us some tea. We need to talk."
Okay. You guys
Mm,
figure anything out?
At this point, all the guards have left with Fenor. He has gone to the hospital. All right, Felix, you make some okay tea. It's not as great as your last batch, but it's a
It's a
well
little
brewed tea.
cold this time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk over to Hal and offer him a cup.
Al graciously takes it and sips it. But it's a little
It's not as good as last night's, but I promise I will give you a better batch when I'm more in spirit. And he's going to sit over on the opposite couch and just face Haluf, and he says, "I understand that the two Inolts in our little merry band call you a savage, and I can't speak for Terra, but I know our people, and I know our people from Adoria. Too, you're a bit different. Do you mind explaining to me, laddie, why you did what you did?"
Hal takes a sip of his tea. And he's like, "You wanna know why I did it?
Yes,
No
I would
one,
like.
no one bosses me around and tells me I can't fight. No one looks at my elven friends the way that guy did. I fought alongside a couple elvens and was in Arcadia doing stuff, and I'll never forget how they stood up against evil. Okay, and I smelled the same kind of evil on that game master.
I won't deny that my nose probably isn't as good as yours, but I did feel on intentions when the game master asked us to lose.
I think
But
I
I
know
think
why.
you do.
Okay? So in that arena, there was a guy. He had a bow. He was kind of handsome, I guess. I didn't catch his name, but he was real fancy looking. You know, that guy.
Yes, I remember them.
Well, I'm pretty sure 'cause I got the smell. Even though I had a potato sack over the smell of dirt, he, that guy in the room, smelled very much like the second guy from the spirit. Didn't catch his name either. They smelled really similar. I'm pretty sure they lived. I'm assuming that they're related somehow, and
Wow.
they wanted him to win, bring honor to family name, and also I fought a lion guy in there. There's nothing funny. So I was fighting another lion guy.
Felix nods his head and he says, I think I can see the story you're trying to write to me, but
The lion guy smelled real familiar. I've not met very many lions over here, but he smelled really familiar. This place smells really. Back when I was in Arcadia, there was an inn, magical. It smelled like pie, and the Minotaur woman named Helen, and she and I were lovers before I disappeared in town. I think I might be related to that.
you believe so? And he's gonna look over at now the wet, and then suddenly shake his head and he says, "I listen, Wolfsbane, laddie. I want to understand where you're coming from. And while I didn't agree to losing on purpose, and losing, I don't know whether it be gold or whether it be the people like I do or your pride, but I warn you, laddie, there may have been a better way to handle this without so much grief and causing so much panic. I understand that you have your pride. Plenty of Leonin do. I've seen many folks like you before in my age and time. But he's going to reach over and he's going to pull his cape back a little bit and he's going to show the stump of his right arm and gently, like, hold it out a little bit. And he says, I remember when I was young like you once, when I had that similar pride, where I didn't want people to push me around, where I chased the tail of women and men alike, and where I drank and sang songs of my victories. And look at where that pride got me. Look at what your pride got you with the other people. Women panicked, children crying in the night. Everyone came for fun festivals. Farmers who probably worked the entire year and used their entire wage to see us compete. Was that worth bringing them all down just for your pride?
Al gets up and heads to the fire. He's like, "Well, I gave him one hell of a story."
All right. Valen and Terra, your investigation into Finor's room. How do you want to proceed with that?
Before that, I want to speak with Valen. I will
Okay.
look at him and say a word.
Yes, what is it?
Um, well, you will not believe if I tell you like right this way, but I think that there is something happening with that golden thorn friend of yours. Like, I have this kind of premonitory dreams, strange visions that sometimes lead me to some places. And today I had these dreams, and all of them are pointed towards Goldthorn. And I don't know what that means, but I think that it might be worth checking.
Okay, you have premonitory dreams?
Yeah, I know that this sounds very bad, but believe me, that saved my life more than once.
I see. I mean, magic can do some pretty interesting things. I won't discredit those for sure. But how so? What do you mean, Golden Thorn? He's evil? He's out to get us? He's
I can't say exactly. What I can say is like I was trying to find some kind of purpose, some kind of sense about like the game master approaching us, his death and everything. Just pointed towards Goldthorn. Perhaps he was the person who was behind the proposal of the game master. I don't know, but it would make sense because well, he was on the opposing team.
I suppose that would make some sense. I just chalked up the offer as he had a bet on our opposition, and the best way to make his money back
Is
was to force us to
yeah,
lose.
is Goldthorn like a noble like you? Like
Well,
like I know he's not like as beautiful or as polite, but I think that every day like they they let anyone be a noble. So
he, if I recall correctly, his family does head the Merchants Guild here in this shanty of a town. It's no capital city, but his name does come with some modicum of honor. I wouldn't say we're on a, a friendship level with with them, but you know they're worth something in a world that's often not. But I, like I said, even so, if he simply had money placed on our competitors, sure, that's a dick move, as some would say. But honestly, in this town, not all that unexpected. But do these premonitions you have seem to paint a more malevolent picture than this? Is he going to pose a threat to myself or us in the future?
like I said, I can't say if he's evil, if he's truly behind it. Like it's just pointed towards him. Like whatever are his reasons, whatever are his plans, I don't know. I just know that he's linked to all of this somehow.
Right. Well, he certainly has bought into the rumors that you may have heard yourself surrounding House Eilundir, and if he's foolish enough to fall for those kinds of gossip, then I have no problem allowing my blade to find his back at any point in the near future. But for the time being, I must admit my concern lies more with my former mentor, I guess you could call him, Fenor.
Yeah.
He stayed in this room here, and as you may have heard, there's some sleep situation going on in town. This is, I assume, news to me.
It
I don't
is.
know if you're Oh, good. News. It is news to me. Um, I don't know if you're skilled at all in arts as you are with a blade, but I intend to have a look at his room and see if there's any signs of perhaps magical or arcane tampering that resonates within.
Okay, that does make total sense. He is your man. He was. I truly hope he wakes up from his slumber. Uh, I will be here if you need something. I will be, patrolling the door if like any curious, like more curious than us actually, comes to pass by. I will be here. You can make your investigation safely.
Very well. What was your name again? He'll look at the human.
Jesus.
Really?
You look like a Samantha.
That's very incorrect. Do you want my help or not?
Well, I don't know if I need your help, but I am certainly.
Very well.
Oh, what? Oh, was it something I said?
Is there an opposite of bardic inspiration? Like, can I take it away from him?
Bardic critique. While they're all having that talk, Felix will unequip the sword on his back and gently put it against the arm of the chair, and he says, "Right. Oh, by the way, Wolfsbane, laddie, I am a man of thy word. We ought to step outside for a little bit. I promised you a wrestle."
Okay. I'm
As
not
you guys go to
deep
walk
after last
outside,
night.
as you guys go to walk outside, Nawal comes and he's like, "No need," and he snaps. And upon him snapping, the entire interior where this little room is right here shifts. The couches like just sink into the ground. Everything just kind of magically disperses into like a ring, like a wrestling ring. You know what I mean? So
Oh boy.
pretend this is
Oh.
a ring.
Oh boy.
Felix will look over. Oh, yeah.
No, whenever you guys are ready, we can begin the wrestle.
Felix will look over to Halif and say, "I will agree to your wrestle, but as long as you unequip your weapons and leave them over on the chair right there."
You have my word. He puts down his weapons and stuff like that. Kind of like, tosses up his shoulder because got beat up. Just started.
As you go to put your weapons away, Nal just snaps again, and weapons disappear off of both of your guys' persons at the same time. Just poof, puff of smoke. He snaps again and
I'm-
summons a little bell.
I'm ashamed to say that I can't give you a fair fight, but I'll at least give you a good wrestle.
Why can't
He's
you
just
give me
gonna
a fair
hold
fight?
his-
Does his arm?
All right. You guys are going to roll strength against each other 3 times. The person with the higher number, or wait, no, how do I want this to work? It doesn't work.
I asked Felix why he can give me the fair fight with his arm.
Well,
Hal can make it a fair fight if he wants.
Yes.
Hal goes over here and gets a log that's not burnt, and using his wood carving skills, makes a wooden arm for Felix.
He's just gonna like take it and just like an action figure that has an arm detached, just like. I don't think that's how it works, Haluf.
I'm sure we can figure something out.
All right. Valen makes a good point where you guys should probably just roll against each other's athletics to see who pins who.
Okay.
So if you guys could give me athletics rolls,
Just one.
just one. So you guys begin to wrestle. Now dings the bell. Bing, bing, bing. And Felix goes and rushes at Hal. And Hal just with one arm just grabs him, puts him down on the ground, and just holds him there. Felix is trying to bust out, but Hal just has the best of him. And Nal.
Oh wait,
Bing, bing, bing. Sorry, what?
Oh, I was gonna ask if I'm able to make an acrobatics check to leave the grapple.
Sure.
All right, I'll give it my best shot.
Um.
Yeah, that's not being a nat 20.
Will you also roll a strength check for me, Hal?
Sure.
So unfortunately, Hal's strength is too much, and even with your nimbleness, you're just not able to get away. He holds you down. And as he holds you down, Null rings the bell and says, "How's the winner?" And then snaps, and then the entire room just like quickly shifts back into the arrangement it was before.
Oh, that was a fun fight. Thanks, Felix.
Aye, and he'll offer his left hand and just say, I know it's not the most fair to fight, and that I'm a bit of a disadvantage. However, it's more important that you have fun and blow off a little bit of steam.
Hey, I love you, and I'm sorry that I killed that guy.
Don't.
I want you to have this. And then Hal reaches the bag and pulls out his Arcadian medallion, traveler's medallion, and gives it to Felix.
Okay.
Oh, it's quite the medallion. Aye, and thank you for apologizing, but as much as I hate to say, and as much as you might not want to hear me say it, you ought to swallow your pride and tell that to the people who need to hear it.
Oh, I did the swap for you guys already.
Okay. Felix will look up at Howlif in the eyes and he says, I know it won't be easy for a man like you, but better to do the right thing than to do the prideful thing.
Right.
And besides, we'll find another way to take them down. It's more fun that way.
Hal sighs and starts to walk. As he's walking, he looks in this direction and sees Kithis and just like stares at him uncomfortably long.
Kithis is in the middle of making himself breakfast. He's tired and sleepy, but he looks over at you, and you guys kind of meet eyes, and he just disregards you and goes back to making his breakfast.
Are you making waffles?
And he looks at you, and he just looks and goes, "How dare you talk to me?" And then just like eats his roll and waits for your response.
Well, are you making waffles?
He says, "Yeah, making waffles for everybody. Anybody that wants waffles, come and get some."
Are you using a recipe that calls black beans as the grain?
Yes, exactly.
I only know of one other person in this world who's done that. Her name was Helen, and she was a minotaur.
Real quick, everybody should have waffles or flapjacks in their inventory now.
I like waffles.
He looks at Hal and he's just like, "Helen, how do you know that name, Helen?"
I betted her once, right before I fought a leviathan.
He looks at.
It was a giant lizard thing. I can't remember. It's been a long time.
Will you roll a persuasion check for me?
I don't think I have to.
Persuasion. Trust in the heart of the bowl.
Okay. He looks at you, not really fully believing you and your crazy, wild story, but just assumes that you might be somebody that Helen once knew, and just kind of assumes you're just like crazy or whatnot. And he looks and he's like, "Well, sorry to tell you, Helen's gone. He's passed on."
Yeah, I assumed that. I've been here for quite some time.
You see him tear up and he goes, "She actually passed away last night." And he starts like breaking down, crying.
Hal starts to tear up.
It could have been with her this whole time.
And he looks up at you and he's teary-eyed and he's like, "She lived almost 3,400 years. Somehow that pesky old Minotaur managed to hold on." He then proceeds to tell you that Helen is his great-grandmother. There's been several generations of Wolfsbane, which is her long-lost lover that left her in the middle of the night. And they always told stories about it over the fire.
Well, I'm that guy.
He doesn't believe you. He still just assumes that you're crazy. He just says, "Whatever." He's like, "Well, Helen's funeral is at the end of the week. If you want to come, they're hosting it at the Moonlight Gardens."
Sounds great. I will be there in full ceremonial garb. Did she say anything about something that I wore all the time, or that I had that I could show you now?
He just looks you up and down like a crazy guy, wipes away his tears, and just disregards you and goes back to making his breakfast.
outside again. He's just like, hey, Felix. He heads over. Hey guys,
Hey, is everything alright? I heard you wailing a little bit back there.
it turns out one I love in the past is still alive, and I could have been with her the entire time. I've been lost here in the future. He just died.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Wolfsbane. Is her funeral going to be soon?
At the end of the week, I hear.
Then we ought to make time so that you can say your condolences.
Thank you. Jinshi, would you accompany me to my lover to Sarah,
Well,
lover soon?
All right, let's shift our focus back to the investigation happening in the room here. Valen.
Yeah. So, in the interim, while that conversation was probably taking place, Valen would go ahead and summon his owl familiar from the pocket dimension, which it's been cozily nestled for a little bit of time here. And this kind of black and brown spotted, what would be actually a fey spirit, has taken the form of this feathered and relatively inquisitive looking owl that Valen has taken to calling Marquis. And
Okay.
he'll have him sit on the bed and just kind of provide him with some intelligent company that won't talk back. As he begins to trace these, like, with just his finger along the ground and along the wall, these like various circles and intricate patterns that might be sigils,
Okay.
but they don't show anything just yet. But he's essentially going to ritualistically cast detect magic in the room. Oops, I will. I don't know if you have a way to ritually cast this spell or not, without me using the mana. I guess I can just put them. Oh wait, no, consume spell slot. No.
Probably not realistically. I probably haven't thought that far into it. So if
It's loud.
so you detect magic what you're getting back from this is immediately as you send off the spell, you get an immediate feedback of intense magical energy. It's coming from all directions while you're within this inn, and as you try to sort it out and make sense of it, you start noticing it's the same magic that was used when Noir was snapping and things were changing. You can just tell that the entire inn has a certain magical presence about it. Looking past that, trying to detect anything further out, you don't necessarily see anything, but deep down inside of you, where in the divot in the indent where Finor was laying in his bed, you kind of get this weird feeling of like sinking in your gut. And the more you focus on it, the more sleepy you become, and your energy starts to dwindle. And the more you focus on it, it starts snowballing and sucking this energy from you.
Let's pass out.
If he begins to feel that that notion, knowing full well what the problem seems to be going on, he'll quickly dismiss the detect magic spell, and break whatever link he might be having with this trace magic.
All right, you break the link, and as you do, you just fall to your knees and take a breath. It feels like the first breath you've ever taken. You try to open your eyes, but they weigh heavy. They weigh so heavy, heavier than and sleepier than you've ever been. You use every fiber of your being to stand up and sit up and fight the sleepiness as that wave kind of washes and soothes over you and eventually dissipates.
Al scoops him up, carrying him in his arms.
Oh, did that spell drain them or something?
I don't know. He looked
Valen, are you alright? You just looped out for a moment.
Yeah, and he'll like clearly not be fully in his cognitive space at the moment. But as soon as he notices that he's being held by Hal, he'll quickly like jerk and like put me down, put me down.
all right.
We want you to kill me on accident.
Hey, I'm sorry.
I
Right,
I
Will.
think I think I'm starting to think of something, everybody. Terra, are you capable of detecting magic like Valen?
Not in this. I'm
Hmm.
better at identifying what the magic is.
Then I think I have an idea. Terra, Valen, why don't you two go to the hospital and investigate some of the poor folks that have become sleepers? Perhaps you can figure out what magic or curse has affected them. Me, Haluf, and Jinchi will go over to the guildmaster and we'll speak to them and figure out what they want.
So you guys are going to travel as a party. And I want to avoid as much separation
okay.
as possible. So,
Got it.
Yeah. You guys are more welcome to investigate both spots, but it's one of those things where you guys as a group are going to have to come to a decision of where you want to go first, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Well, considering I stabbed the
I think that makes sense. Investigate the professor and the sleep disease because, well, our friend Valen like just almost fell for that, and then we can head to the game master. Since
Right.
since I guess that he will not use it to see half of us.
That'd be a good plan, yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, at this point, if your business has concluded in the inn, we can take you to the city map. If there's no more
Okay.
business to conclude here.
I don't have anything else to do here. Does anyone else?
No, I just like take my stuff, like take my gear, and we'll be in.
Okay. So as you guys are collecting yourself, give me a moment to prepare some NPCs.
All right.
Got it.
I guess in the meantime, Valen will begin to describe exactly what it was he was doing, as I'm sure many of those that are not arcane inclined probably weren't entirely sure. So he would describe that he was casting a spell that would allow him to sense just the mere presence of magic and its nature to some degree. And though the entire chamber gave off some kind of glow, but that would be expected from a place like this. And I assume Valen would be aware that the only inn in town was like this. And he'll just mention that as soon as he caught a whiff of this other form of magic, it began to pull him in, which is why he had to sever the connection so soon. Which means that when we get to the hospital, I don't think casting that spell again is going to reveal much more than my unconsciousness.
All
Then
right.
perhaps there's something that we can learn not magical. Perhaps there's something that the sleepers have on their bodies that can prove us some evidence.
Well, for the two samples that we have until now, I will point towards Valen. All of them were spellcasters, magic users. So, well, it may be not the case for other samples, for other Guinea pigs, but until now, that is the only clue we have.
All right.
Yes, we should definitely see if we can read out a common denominator, so to speak, on those who have become affected, and perhaps even check in. I would assume the guard has done something to this point to investigate the issue. If there's any competence among them, perhaps there's some answers.
I don't think that they have like the ways they talked about like a disease that make a person sleep and never wake up, like and like taking your professor to the hospital. It was very strange.
Mm.
All right.
But,
Well, I have the map
but
prepared
I
whenever you guys are ready.
understand. But I understand that well, if you are investigating a magic disease, and then when you cast magic, you like get affected by this very disease, can be somewhat a drawback.
Cool. Were we all ready to leave the inn?
Yep.
Okay. Let me know when everybody's map loads. This is a big one.
Give it a sec. Still warming up.
Yeah, it's a big one. Is it still loading for you guys? Oh my gosh.
Yep, I'm at 98.
Oh, that's cool. It gives you a percentage.
Hmm.
All right. When everybody's in, just let me
Oh,
know.
wow. Yep, I'm in now.
I'm in.
Valen, Terra.
I'm still sitting at 98. I'm at 98.
I am right here. Oh god damn it!
Same
Oh,
here.
there.
I'm at 98. Nope. Yep. There we go.
Okay. So as you exit the Moon Harbor Inn, the vibrancy of the city unfurls before you, accompanied by the invigorating scent of the sea. The fresh, briny aroma carried by the cool ocean breeze fills your nostrils. In the distance, you see the bustling bay, which offers a spectacle of maritime splendor. Ships from distant shores, their masts proud and sails billowing, dot the glistening waters, anchored around a crescent-shaped island, which teems with market stalls and merchant quarters, and the big red tent where you guys were just at. They form the vital pulse of the city's commerce. Above, seagulls wheel and dive, their lively chirps forming a contrasting melody to the deeper hum of city life. Their white wings catch the sunlight, drawing bright paths across the blue sky. To your left, a grand canal, shimmering under the morning sun, carves its way through Moon Harbor, leading to the verdant woods surrounding the cities. The distant silhouette of the fortress stands as a majestic backdrop, overseeing the harmony in nature and urban life. As you leave the where am I? As you leave the inn, a cacophony of raised voices and the shuffling of feet draw your attention. An agitated mob, faces contorted with desperation and anger, stand at the entrance, their path blocked by a line of city guards. From behind the guards, the alchemist, oh, I forgot, he's there, don't worry, he's there. A figure with disheveled robes and a frantic look in their eyes shouts defiantly, "I do not have any more, leave me alone." A particularly distressed individual from the crowd retorts, voice strained with evident anguish, "Damn you, alchemist! I'm going mad! We all are!" The tension becomes palpable as the guards, sensing the crowd's growing unrest, grip their weapons tighter, faces set stern in determination. The line between order and chaos starting to seem dangerously thin as you guys walk up on the scene. I'll turn it to you.
Oh dear. What's happening?
We have an objective, everybody. Best while I want to help everyone here, that we have more important matters to attend to.
As you say that, the crowd starts throwing things at the guard, and the guards start drawing their weapons.
I think we have to intervene now.
If the guards are reaching for their weapons, yes.
And I will walk towards the guards, and I will ask them what's going on here. And I will, and I want to show my lieutenant insignia on my chest.
Okay. The guards completely disregard you as you talk to them, but as you pull out your lieutenant insignia, they stop and they notice and they look at Jinshi and they say, "This crowd, they're upset. They've been trying to raid the alchemist store ever since this morning. Things in Moon Harbor are starting to get bad." And all of a sudden, the people in the back just scream, "We need the potions! We can't sleep!" And as you look across the crowd, big, dark, black bags are under all of these people's eyes. And as you look at the guards, they too have big black bags underneath their eyes. Even though the guards are pulling their weapons, you can tell that they're tired. They don't want to pull their weapons, almost in like this tired haze.
Hold your sword, soldiers. Well, this alchemist is selling potions to sleep. Am I right?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm selling. Me, the alchemist, is here now. He looks at you guys and he's just like, "Slumber potions, I don't have any more. I've been bought out. I'm waiting for supplies." And the people start screaming them back. They're like, "You're just holding out on us." They start to pick things up and throw them at Erdon.
Is there any way like to disperse the crowd?
I would like to see if Felix can get in between the soldiers and the crowd and like get their attention.
Okay, you can. Yeah, you step between the crowd.
I will be right beside him, like showing my badge, like to endorse whatever the fuck Felix is going to say.
The guards don't disregard Felix. They don't even see him really because he's so short and he's kind of just like stumbling through their feet.
Jinshi, if you'd hold still real quick, and you feel like Felix like suddenly climb. He's gonna raise his voice and just speak to both the crowd and say it soldiers and just say, "Good people, good soldiers, and the seller of alchemical supplies. I beg of you to all listen to me and cease this chaos."
The crowd is progressively getting more and more tense. The guards, you can tell that because you have Jinshi's approval, they're listening to what you say. They start sheathing their weapons, But as they do, the crowd goes crazy, and then the crowd looks at you, Felix, and says, "Can you promise us potions?" And all eyes
Fel-
turn to you, like crackheads are like scratching themselves, you know.
Yes,
Felix
the alchemist will give you potion you want. Like, just give him some more time for him to gather his ingredients, his supplies. He needs that to make the goddamn potions.
Felix will follow up with Jinshi's speech and, like, using his legs to prop up on him, he'll hold out his left arm to the soldiers and the alchemist, and he says, look at everyone. Look at your soldiers that protect you, and the alchemist. Look at yourselves in the reflections of the water, and whatever reflection of mirrors and windows you may see. You all have bags under your eyes. Don't you see? You all are suffering from the same lack of sleep, the restlessness. There's no point in fighting each other if you're all afflicted with the same. You all are suffering, and you all must come together and work.
So as you say these words, the crowd looks at you with blank expressions. Will you please roll a persuasion check for me?
Oh, here we go. All right. Do I get help from Jinshi's little follow-up speech, or I know it's probably silly to ask, but
Well,
How could Dauntily roar if that would help?
sure. Why don't Jinshi and Felix both roll persuasion checks for me?
okay. Jinshi, you ready?
I am proficient with persuasion, so yeah, let's.
I am not, so let's do this. Yeah, that's fair.
Oh god damn it.
So Felix begins to talk and give this epic speech. And in the middle of his speech, it's dead quiet, and all eyes are on him. And it becomes passionate and emotional. He's giving this great, fantastic speech, and out of nowhere, he just gets slapped in the face with a tomato and rolls back and falls off Jinshi's arms, lands on the floor. But Jinshi also pipes up and gives some sort of fancy little speech, which calms the crowd down where they're not throwing things anymore. The crowd all kind of look at each other, and they notice each other are sleeping, and they look past the guards directly at Erdan, and they say, You better get those potions quick. None of us can sleep. We're literally dying out here. And then the crowd kind of all start to disperse, and they hovel away all tired.
Ay,
That was close.
The
Aye,
guards
very
look at you
close.
guys, and they're like, "Thank you so much. We didn't have the manpower. We've been stretched thin. Moon Harbor's getting crazy anymore." And as he's talking, this guard just falls over asleep, just like fully standing, and just knocks, falls on the ground, slams on the ground,
Fuck.
dead asleep. The other guards just look at him, frustrated, and then begin to pick him up. And they say, "Bring him with the other sleepers," and start taking him off towards the hospital.
What the fuck?
All right.
I
Where is
will
the hospital?
run towards Valen. We need to get
So
to the source of this, and we need to get it now.
I didn't have a hospital made. I didn't. That was kind of on the fly, but it'll be about right here next to the keep. So I don't have an actual location for it yet, but next time we play, I'll actually have a full location for it.
okay.
Okay. Before we make our way in that direction, given that we have the alchemist here before us, I think Valen would like to speak with him momentarily as well.
Sure.
Would he be familiar with this person, having lived here? Is he like the alchemist?
He is. He is the alchemist. He is the son of the great alchemist who recently passed. So he's been having a hard time getting established. Nobody will take him seriously. He's young. And yeah, no one respects him quite like they did his father.
All right.
You would
he'll
know
go
this.
ahead and, okay. He'll go ahead and approach him. Erden, seems like you're having fun these days.
He just sighs and looks at you. He's like, Alan dear. He's like, I don't know what's happened. In the last 2 or 3 days, things have gotten out of control. I don't even know what to think of this or wrap my head around it.
Well, I mean, you wanted business. It looks like you're in high demand, at the very least.
He kind of sighs and he's like, You're right. Business has been well. It's been so well that I've actually run out of potion supplies. He kind of looks up at you in the group, and he's just like, "Oh, Valen, are these your friends, huh? They look like handy folks."
They've done all right in a pinch so far. But tell me, these potions that you've brewed, the ones that you did manage to dole out, have they seemed to work?
He goes, it kind of seems like we're just running our wheels here. People can't sleep regardless of how much sleep they get, so they take my potions to be less restless. And in doing so, end up putting themselves in this wicked coma. He's like, it's an endless cycle that I don't really know how to break. He's like, we've tried stimulant potions, but that just blows their heart out.
Ah,
You have
yes,
a
that's
revive potion?
He looks at Hal and says, what?
You have a potion that can bring people back from the dead?
He just kind of scoffs. He's just like, potions like that haven't existed for 600 years. And looks back at Valen.
so. From your understanding, this whole epidemic, people just can't sleep, and they stay awake until they can't be awake any longer, and then pass out for an ungodly amount of time before dying. Is that the gist of it?
He says, I only see the people that are still awake, but from what I hear, people are growing restless, and it doesn't matter how long they sleep or how much they sleep. They wake up feeling restless, and after a few days, it starts affecting them, and after a few more days, well, they just don't wake up.
I see. And what of you? Have you succumbed to this disability?
He looks and he's just like, I've been working so much, I really haven't had a chance to sleep. I'm always restless anymore running the business after Pop's passed. I can't really tell a difference. But last night I did wake up, and I don't know, something just felt different.
I see. Well, I just got a good long night's rest last night, so I feel fine. So that's good.
Ah, well, that's good then. At least one of us is having a good sleep. He kind of looks over at you
What
guys.
ingredients do you make these sleepers?
He's like, well, the ingredients I need are actually sitting down by the dock, but I've been having a little trouble getting them over here. Like I said, everybody that I would call for help has been either sleeping or scared to work with me. Some people think that I'm the one causing this, just to drive up business. That's ridiculous.
Are you?
He like looks at you, he says, that's ridiculous! And then he gives you like a big yawn. He looks at you guys, he's like, look, if you guys could go to the dock and get the supplies for me, that would be great. My normal runner, well, who knows where he's at? He's probably sleeping in his house like the rest of the city. If you guys can get the supplies for me, I can compensate you with a few slumber potions yourself.
And they do work, at least to some degree of preventative measure.
He just shrugs his shoulders. He's like, I don't know. We just had an entire mob ready to take my head off for some. I would say they probably do something.
Are they non-addictive?
He looks at you and he just laughs and he says, technically every potion's a little addictive, but we don't tell you that. And he kind of winks at you.
Better to take something than nothing at all, I would say.
Well, I must admit, if we're to be in charge of solving this problem, as the guards are sleeping the job quite literally, perhaps we should secure some fallbacks for ourselves before we continue.
And most importantly, help that crowd of people.
Sure.
And we could sell the potions that he gives us.
No. That wouldn't be the point to getting the potions, I think.
Veiling,
Mm.
your expertise in magical affairs, would you be able to investigate the potions, like its composition and anything like that?
Well, unfortunately, that's not yet within my purview. However, and he'll look over at Terra. Just earlier, our human friend here mentioned that's something within her wheelhouse.
Yes, I can.
Well, Erdon looks at your
That's
group
all.
after
all we can
discussing
ask.
this. And he says, oh, if you guys need me, I will be back in my shop. He's like, just go to the docks and ask for... just go to the docks and ask around. Just mention my potion supplies, and I'm sure someone will point you in the right direction. And then
Can
he
you give us-
proceeds.
For the doc?
He looks at you and he's like, south? He goes back to his potions. Okay. Well, everybody, with that, it has hit 10 o'clock. It is our stopping time. But we've accomplished a lot today. You guys now have a few good objectives. What a tournament, huh? So funny. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pause the game.
Alrighty.
All right, real quick, I'm going to do just a little outro for the video, and then we can do whatever we want. But yeah, thank you guys so much for playing. That was
Thanks for having
fantastic,
us.
of course, and we will
Yeah,
see you
that was
in the
amazing.
next one.